10 most addictive substances. Number 10. GHB. GHB is a psychoactive drug, often administered to narcoleptics to help regulate their sleeping patterns. However, it is more commonly used as a recreational drug, allowing users to experience euphoria and relaxation. Those addicted to the drug take it every couple of hours and experience soaring levels of anxiety and also hallucinations if they miss a dose. Addicted GHB users become so dependent on the drug that withdrawal can be fatal. Number 9. Benzodiazepines. Benzodiazepines are prescribed to people who suffer from severe anxiety and panic disorders. However, within 6 weeks of taking them, not only is a tolerance built up, but symptoms of the patient's anxiety disorders can worsen. This leaves them little choice but to increase their dosage until they are fully dependent on the drug. For addicts, quitting the drug is highly dangerous, as going cold turkey can cause a stroke or heart disease. It can therefore take an addict years to become free of the drug. Number 8. Caffeine. Caffeine is the most popular unregulated drug in the world. When caffeine is consumed, it enters the bloodstream through the stomach and affects neural activity in the brain, increasing mental alertness and decreasing drowsiness. The substance is highly addictive because of these positive effects, and now 75% of coffee drinkers are addicts. Caffeine can be lethal when a dose of 10 grams is consumed, which is equal to 80 cups of coffee or 125 cans of Red Bull. Number 7. Alcohol. Alcohol obstructs neurons in the brain. This slows down thinking, breathing, and heart rates while increasing a sense of pleasure. Alcohol can be highly addictive, and approximately 1 in 5 people who have taken a drink will develop an addiction at some point in their lives. Excessive drinking can cause long-term health issues, and in 2010, excessive alcohol consumption cost the US $249 billion in medical costs to treat alcohol addiction. It is also estimated that worldwide, 1 person dies every 10 seconds from alcohol-induced diseases. Number 6. Barbiturates. Barbiturates are sedative drugs that slow down the central nervous system. In the 1960s, they were commonly prescribed by doctors to chronic insomniacs to help them sleep. However, tens of thousands of people have died from barbiturate overdoses because the prescribed dose was close to the lethal dose. One famous example is American icon Marilyn Monroe. The drug can become very addictive. Quite often, addicts of anxiety-inducing drugs, such as cocaine users, will also become dependent on barbiturates to help relieve this anxiety. Number 5. Crystal meth. Crystal meth is an extremely powerful drug that is either snorted, smoked, or injected to create a full sense of happiness and energy for about 6 hours. The drug teaches the brain to release dopamine and norepinephrine, but in the process, it also damages the neurons that release these chemicals. This drastically decreases chemical production in the brain and therefore heightens the craving for meth even more. So much so that many people become hooked after their first hit. Long-term addicts often develop psychosis and completely lose touch with reality. Number 4. Methadone. Methadone is a drug prescribed to heroin addicts to help cure their dependence. Doctors administer the drug to reduce patients' acute withdrawal symptoms, slowly decreasing their dosage until they can live a clean lifestyle. However, very often this backfires, and patients become psychologically addicted to methadone itself, believing that they need it to keep off heroin. Although methadone only represents a small amount of painkiller prescriptions, it is actually responsible for the highest number of prescription-related deaths. Number 3. Nicotine. The main ingredient of tobacco, nicotine, is one of the most addictive and harmful substances on the planet. It is estimated that 8 million people would die from the drug in the year 2020. When you smoke a cigarette, the nicotine is rapidly absorbed by the lungs and delivered to the brain, reducing stress and anxiety levels. About 1 to 2 milligrams of nicotine is absorbed in one cigarette, but just one pure drop of nicotine is enough to kill you. Number 2. Cocaine. In a matter of seconds, cocaine floods the brain with dopamine and provides an illusion of pleasure and self-confidence. Research conducted in the 1970s found that the euphoric feeling is so powerful that rats would choose cocaine over food, even if it meant starving themselves. Cocaine is very addictive, and approximately 1 in 5 people who try it will develop dependence. It has also been found that teenagers who drink alcohol and smoke tobacco are 266 times more likely to use cocaine when they're older than drug-free teenagers. Number 1. Heroin. When heroin is injected into the body, the brain converts it into morphine. This triggers the brain cells that help us perceive reward and gives us an overwhelming feeling of euphoria. The more you take it, the more tolerant you become to it, meaning that addicts have to take higher and higher doses to reach the same euphoria. This is where it becomes life-threatening, as the lethal dose is only 5 times greater than the dose a first-time user takes to get high.